If 2026 is the year that you are finally going to visit Tokyo Disneyland, you're in the right place. Tokyo Disneyland is truly a magical destination, and they have some amazing rides, beautiful parades, and some adorable snacks as well, making it one of the most popular theme parks in the world. But with all that popularity come huge crowds, and even if you're an expert on Disney parks in other places around the world, the Tokyo Disney parks and the Tokyo Disney guests do things very differently. I'm Jordan, I've been living in Tokyo for 7 years now, so if you're planning to spend a day at Tokyo Disneyland in 2026, you absolutely must do these things to make sure you have a stress-free time. It is possible, trust me. In this video, we're going to look at how to buy your park tickets, how to download and use the Tokyo Disney app, which is super important. That's going to let you skip some of the queues for the rides. It's going to let you see some of the shows and parades. I'm also going to give my personal recommendations on which rides you want to see, which shows and parades are worth watching, and some food and shop recommendations as well. And then finally, we'll look at every single event that's going to be happening at Tokyo Disneyland in 2026. But I think before you do any of that, if you're traveling from abroad, the first decision you have to make is when to visit. So Tokyo Disneyland can get very busy, and you really want to avoid those super busy days. I was just there yesterday, in fact, and you're talking about hour-long queues for food, 2, 3, or even 4-hour-long queues for some of the rides, so you really want to avoid some of those days. Those super busy days tend to be on Saturdays and national holidays, so you can see all the Japanese national holidays for 2026 on the screen right now. Definitely avoid those national holiday weekends. Sometimes the tickets even sell out. There was one recently where the queue for one of the rides at Disney Sea was 6 hours long. Who is joining that queue? Now, depending on where you live in the world, this might be a novel concept, but Japan have 4 different seasons throughout the year. And not to be patronizing, but summer is hot and winter is cold. I think how cold winter gets isn't too bad. It's actually quite comfortable for a lot of people, but the heat and humidity in the summer can really ruin a Tokyo Disney trip for a lot of people. So if that sounds unbearable to you, definitely avoid summer. My general recommendations are January and early February are great times to come if you don't mind wrapping up warm, super low crowds. April is much nicer weather and tends to be very low crowds as well. In terms of weather, October, November, December can be very pleasant, and the parks do have some stuff going on for Halloween and Christmas as well, but those events bring in huge crowds, so that's a balance you have to make. If you want to be here in Halloween or Christmas, you're going to have to accept that it's going to be very busy. Now, Tokyo Disneyland is scheduled to have a brand new ride opening this year based on the Wreck-It Ralph movies. You may be familiar with the Buzz Lightyear shooting rides that are at every Disney park around the world, or have been. Tokyo Disneyland also used to have this Buzz Lightyear ride, but they're now changing it into a Wreck-It Ralph ride. So it's not going to be a huge new ride, but it is going to be something new. We don't have a date for that yet, but it is opening this year, so you may want to wait if that sounds exciting for you. We do have a much bigger ride on the horizon as well, a brand new indoor roller coaster. Tokyo Disneyland completely flattened their Space Mountain ride, and they're building a brand new modern version, which is very exciting. So if that sounds like something you really want to check out, maybe give 2026 a miss, save up a little more money, and visit in 2027 when that is currently scheduled to open. Now, one enormous thing that I tell everybody who's planning a trip to Tokyo Disney: go to the website, go to the attractions page, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see generally around 5 or 6 months in advance when some of the rides are scheduled to close for maintenance. Tokyo Disneyland do an amazing job of making everything look brand new and work really well every time you ride. However, that does come at a cost, which is that some of these rides close down for several weeks or even months at a time. So if there's 1 or 2 rides that you absolutely don't want to miss, definitely check those. Some people come and they get so disappointed. Don't let that be you. Okay, so now you've chosen what time of year you're gonna come, how do you get in the park, and how do you do all the stuff? First things first, you have to buy your tickets. You can't buy them at the park entrance. You want to buy them before you come. I recommend using trip.com. I do have an affiliate link in the description. Helps me out a little bit, so thank you to everyone who uses that. The main reason I like to use trip.com is they will give you a refund. The official website won't. And they'll also accept foreign credit cards, PayPal, a lot of different payment options that the official website doesn't. As soon as you've bought this ticket, you'll get a QR code, and you want to download the Tokyo Disney app, tap on scan QR code, and scan the tickets that you've bought on this other website into the app. This is also actually easier with a third party. So yeah, buy your ticket on trip.com or Klook if you don't like me, and scan your QR code into the app, and you've got your ticket in the app, exactly the same as if you bought it from the official website. When you get to the entrance of the park, you're just gonna scan the QR code of the app and get straight in. It's easy as that. And these first few minutes in the park are crucial, so maybe grab a pen and paper for this, because this is gonna make or break your day. 40th Anniversary Priority Pass. This is a free pass that lets you skip the queue on some of the most popular rides in the park. You can see a list of those rides on screen right now. I'll give my personal recommendations later, but you may already know what you want to use it for. You can get another one of these free passes 2 hours after your first one, or after your ride time, whichever is earlier. So for example, if it's 9 a.m., you get a pass for Monsters, Inc. that's at 10:30. At 10:30, you'll be able to get a new free pass. If you got a pass at 9 o'clock for Monsters, Inc., and that's for 11:30, you'll be able to get a new pass at 11 because that's 2 hours after you got the first one. Now, you may notice some big popular rides missing from this list: Beauty and the Beast, Splash Mountain, and even the Little Baymax ride. That's because, unfortunately, these are on a paid option called Disney Premier Access. The bad side of this is it is extra money, and if you have a large group, this can kind of add up. The good side is you can get this as well as the free one at the same time. So as soon as you get in, you can grab a free pass for Pooh's Hunny Hunt, or whatever you choose, and you can get a paid pass for Beauty and the Beast, and right then and there, you've cemented you're getting on 2 amazing rides today. On the topic of these paid extras, I would recommend you to keep in mind that Tokyo Disney park tickets are very, very cheap compared to especially the American Disney parks, but all the other Disney parks around the world, really. So especially if you're traveling all this way, I would recommend spending a bit extra to make sure you get on some of these bigger rides. It takes a lot of stress out of your day. If it's not in your budget, it's not in your budget, but if it is, I think it's worth it. Next up is something called Entry Request. This is a lottery system for some of the shows in the park. This is totally free to use. You're probably going to lose, but it's definitely worth doing because you might get to see some of the shows. And I'll get to my recommendations later, but at least one of them is very, very good. Now, once again, there is also a paid option for these, and you can pay for the shows that have this lottery system. So if you do the lottery, you fail, and you think, you know what, that show looked really cool, I really want to see that, you can pay to get good seating for the shows as well. You can also pay for special seating for the Castle Projection Show and for the parades. These are very easy to see without that seating, but again, if you've got the money, it does just take the stress out and give you a really good view of this stuff. So definitely worth keeping it in mind. The next thing you can do in the app that you don't need to do right away, but I do recommend doing, is mobile order. Especially on a busier day, like I said, some of those food queues can get an hour and a half long. It's not fun to be very, very hungry and you have to wait to get your food and then try to find a table and all that stuff as well. So definitely on a busier day, mobile order your food. These slots can run out, especially for really popular items like the Mickey waffles. Mickey waffles are actually only available mobile order from right now, so if you want those, you have to get that immediately when you get through the gate as well. But most of the time, if the park's not too busy, you can mobile order a restaurant half an hour or an hour before, no problem. Now, if you want to eat in some of the table service restaurants, you definitely want to reserve those in advance. Those reservations go online 2 months beforehand, and like with a lot of stuff coming to the Japanese Disney parks, and just Japan in general, people here will book things as soon as they possibly can. So you want to be very aware if there are some specific restaurants you want to go to, make sure you're booking them 2 months in advance. I'm not going to talk about the Disney hotels in this video, but the Disney hotels are a very similar situation as well. Another great thing the app gives you is a map of the park. Tokyo Disneyland is very, very easy to get around, unlike its next door neighbor, which I'll get into in the next video. Please subscribe if you want to see that, I'm talking all about Tokyo Disney Sea. But I would definitely recommend having a look through the map on the app before you visit, for two reasons. One, if you're a nerd like me, it's just really, really fun and it's gonna make you excited about coming. But also, you want to be aware of where the big rides are that you want to hit, especially the first ride you want to go to in the morning. If you know, okay, we're gonna pay for Beauty and the Beast and we're gonna get a free pass for Pooh's Hunny Hunt, we wanna go to the Monsters Inc. ride first, it definitely helps to streamline your day to know where you're going. Or you can just take it easy and stroll through the castle. Maybe you'll miss a ride or two that way, but you might have a nicer time. Everyone's different. Everyone wants a different trip. And that brings me on to my recommendations. And the first one is something you're probably going to hear a lot if you're planning a trip to Tokyo Disney. Arrive as early as you possibly can if maximizing the amount of rides and attractions in your day is important to you. So again, if you're happy to just relax and be there and do one or two rides, you don't have to get there at 7 a.m. But if you've got one day at this park and you want to hit as many of those rides as you possibly can, the earlier the better. However early you're thinking you'll get there, there'll already be hundreds of people already there. So especially on a busier day, get there as early as is comfortable for you, is my advice. The park opens at 9. Sometimes they actually open the gate a little bit earlier. If you arrive there at 8, you're going to be shocked to see huge crowds of people already in front of you. So if you want to be one of the first people there, you're talking about 7 a.m. I never do that personally unless there's something brand new that I really want to experience because I live here and I can go back anytime. If you've got a one-day, once-in-a-lifetime trip here, maybe you do want to do that. So back to those 40th anniversary priority passes, which I'll just call priority pass from now on. If you're familiar with the old fast pass system that was in a lot of Disney parks, it's basically exactly the same thing. My personal recommendation is to use this for either Pooh's Hunny Hunt or Monsters Inc. Ride and Go Seek. These are two one-of-a-kind rides you can only find in Tokyo. They're tons of fun for the whole family. Everyone's going to enjoy them. I'll do a full Tokyo Disneyland ride tier list for 2026 very, very soon, so subscribe if you want to see that. But just to give a quick rundown, Pooh's Hunny Hunt is you sit in a little honey pot and you see some scenes from the old Winnie the Pooh shorts. It's very, very sweet and it's a lot of fun. Monsters Inc. is a little more interactive. You get a torch, or a flashlight if you're American. You shine this torch at the different monster helmets and they pop out and do fun, silly things. They're both fantastic rides and I definitely recommend getting the free pass for one of those. If you're more of a thrill seeker and you want to get on a roller coaster, maybe use it for Big Thunder Mountain. But never ever use it for Star Tours because it's most of the time a complete waste of a pass. The Star Tours passes will run out last, and also that queue tends to be 10-15 minutes anyway. It's not a good use of your pass, even if you want to ride Star Tours, which is a great ride. As for Disney Premier Access, the paid queue skipping pass, probably no surprises here. I recommend using this for Beauty and the Beast. This is the newest ride in the park. It's the biggest ride in the park. I'm sure even after the new Wreck-It Ralph ride opens, which will probably have this paid pass, Beauty and the Beast is probably still going to be something I recommend more, especially for first-time visitors. If you're someone who grew up riding Splash Mountain and you're excited to ride that, you'll probably buy a pass for that ride and you don't need me to give my recommendations to you. As for the paid viewing of the shows, again, first try the lottery, but if you lose that, I definitely recommend, if you like watching shows, buy the DPA for Mickey's Magic Music World. This is a fantastic indoor theater show. It's all in Japanese, but it doesn't matter because they're singing the songs and it's the spectacle of the thing. It's a very, very cool show. And for me personally, I think if you're spending a day at the parks, there's a lot of rides at Tokyo Disneyland. You're going to do a lot of different rides. Sitting down in a theater to watch a show just adds a little bit extra to your day. As for the parades and the castle show, you can get a great view of these without spending an extra penny, so I don't really recommend doing so, unless you're literally Mr. Moneybags from Spyro 2 Gateway to Glimmer for the PlayStation 1, in which case, buy DPAs for everything, you'll have a great time. Well done, you win the world. Some other ride recommendations I'll quickly give. Splash Mountain, again, it's now one of a kind. It's a huge ride that has some thrills, has some great scenes, blah, blah, blah. Definitely recommend that one. Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion for the classics. If you do decide to come in Halloween or Christmas, Haunted Mansion becomes a Nightmare Before Christmas version, which for someone like me who adores that film is very, very fun and exciting. It's a Small World is another big classic that also gets an overlay themed to Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy for some reason. So if you're coming at the start of the year, maybe go check that out. It's some weird only in Japan sort of thing. When it gets dark, check out Jungle Cruise. A few years back, they changed this to have some really cool lighting and special effects in there, and it looks really, really nice at nighttime. Another one I recommend for night is the Mark Twain Riverboat. This thing is so serene and so relaxing. Even if you've had a super stressful day and it's been busy and you haven't quite gotten everything you want, you can just relax for 15 minutes on this beautiful replica riverboat, going through the trees and take a nice deep breath. And my other big recommendation towards the end of the day is to watch the nighttime parade. There's no better way to end your day. The Magic Kingdom in Florida just got a new night parade, which is cool, but before that, this was the only Disney night parade running in the world, and it's still probably the best one. This thing is so long, there are so many different Disney characters that you're going to recognize, some amazing music, and it's just all twinkly and magical. It's the best. You have to watch this. Oh, one other thing when you do watch the parades, even if you don't pay for special seating, most of the guests sit on the floor to watch these anyway. You can stand behind those people sitting down, but it's win-win, right? If you sit down, you get to rest your legs, which at 7 p.m. on a busy day is very, very nice. If you don't want to sit down for whatever reason, you can stand behind the people sitting down and you get a fantastic view of the parade. So that's a wonderful thing about the parks here. Another thing you might be thinking, end of the day, Disneyland, I have to see the fireworks. Hold your horses, partner. I am wearing my Westernland cowboy jacket from Disneyland today. The fireworks at Tokyo Disneyland are very, very short. They're like 4 minutes long. Not great, and cancelled very, very frequently. I follow this nerdy Twitter account which counted the amount of days it was cancelled last year, and it was over 100. So like a third of the time it's cancelled. So don't expect much anyway, even if they do run, but also maybe don't expect anything. And if they happen, and that's a nice surprise. Just to taper your expectations with that one. Night parade is great, fireworks, meh. The castle projection show is fine. There's probably better things to use that time for if you've got one day at the park, maybe get on some other rides or whatever, but I'll do a video talking about all the entertainment at the park for 2026 very, very soon. I'll get into food recommendations now, and again, mobile order is an option on a super busy day. I sometimes get 2 or 3 mobile orders first thing in the morning. Just secure something at lunchtime, secure something at dinner time. You can change your order later on. So I'll just put one item in there, mobile order, something around 12, something around 6 p.m. And then if you want to cancel it, you can cancel it, that's fine. If you want to change your order and add a bunch of other stuff, you've got something that you're not going to have to wait for in the bag, if you don't have a fancy restaurant reservation already. Some counter service places that I personally recommend. A lot of people love the Hungry Bear Curry. This is a Japanese style curry. If you haven't had Japanese curry before and you want to try it while you're here, this is a fine one. It's a pretty good one. If you're not so interested in Japanese food, Gaston's Tavern have some nice pastries and sandwiches. I've got to give a shout out for my boy Tony Solaroni. Here he is. This little alien dude just sits there at this giant pizza machine making pizzas all day. Actually, calzones, they sell calzones as well. The food's pretty good for a little snack. I do like the calzones, but the main thing is your boy, Big Tone, Tony Solaroni. If you're picky eaters and you're thinking, oh gosh, I really don't know about all this Japanese food, do not worry. Of course, it's Disneyland. They still have burgers. You can go to Tomorrowland Terrace and grab burgers, no problem. If you do want to reserve a restaurant, if you want a buffet, the Crystal Palace is the only buffet available inside the park. It's not a huge selection, but it's enough. And you can go in there, you know you're gonna fill yourself up, right? Again, if you are a picky eater, you can have a buffet, you can find 1 or 2 things you like, and you can make sure you're nice and full so that you're not stressing out about finding food for the rest of the day. The more fancy restaurants, Hokusai is really cool if you want a more traditional Japanese meal. Blue Bayou is very romantic, sitting out watching the Pirates of the Caribbean boats going by. So I could recommend both of those if that sounds like your sort of thing. As for snacks, I adore the creme brulee churros we've had this year, but it's not clear if they're going to be back next year. I assume they will be, but we'll see. There might be seasonal churros. Right now they're chocolate ones for Christmas, which are very nice. They do maple pumpkin ones at Halloween, which are delicious. Another snack I'm fond of is the pork rice roll. This is like a stick of rice wrapped in thick pork, and it just all kind of goos together. It sounds disgusting when I describe it because it's like just rice and grease, but it's very nice. I really like those. The big turkey leg, it's probably not as good as the turkey legs in the American Disney parks, but for some of you, this will be your first time at a Disney park, and turkey leg is kind of quintessential Disney park stuff. You may have heard that popcorn is a big deal at the Tokyo Disney parks, and that is true. You'll see a lot of people with their big popcorn holders. They're not called popcorn holders. What are they called? Popcorn bucket. They don't look like buckets anymore, do they? But that's my popcorn bucket there. They have some interesting flavors. Definitely worth checking them out on the site before you come. Whilst I do like the curry popcorn that you can get in Westernland, if you want popcorn at Tokyo Disneyland, you have to go to the Big Pop. This is a big indoor popcorn location. They have 3 different flavors on offer. The kernels are a bit bigger, it's a bit fancier. Definitely go there for some cool popcorn. If you do want Mickey waffles, you might have to get to the park very early and mobile order them immediately in the app because they've become very, very difficult to get as of recording right now. Now, some of you will be looking at me in my lovely jacket, in my Tokyo Disneyland t-shirt with all this stuff. I was gonna say crap, but that wouldn't be accurate, would it? With all this Tokyo Disney stuff around me and be thinking, how about the shopping, Jordan? What should I do about shopping? Well, while shopping is a huge part of going to Disney parks for so many people, a lot of the Tokyo Disney shops do have basically the same stuff. So 99% of the stuff that you can buy is going to be in that front area of the park called World Bazaar here. And you have like a big emporium, which has a bit of everything. You've got a big clothing shop here, jewelry shop, a huge sweets and snacks shop, because sweets and snacks are a very popular gift that people purchase here to take back to their friends and family and colleagues here in Japan. And even some quirky little shops like the magic shop, which I love, just for the vibes. Even just going in there to just watch one of the magicians do a trick or two is pretty cool. Again, this jacket is from Western Wear, which is a pretty unique shop. This is one of the few shops that doesn't just sell the same stuff as everywhere else. That can be great for some clothes or some interesting little decorations and ornaments. The glass slipper, which is inside Cinderella Castle, you can see actual glass blowers making glass sculptures right there in front of you. So there are a few little options, but for the most part, most of the stuff you want to buy will be at that entrance area. If you get to the end of the day and you've left the park and you think, oh my goodness, I really wanted to buy XYZ, don't worry. There is a huge shop called Bon Voyage right next to the train station, just 2 minutes walk from the exit/entrance of Tokyo Disneyland. And they're open until 10 p.m., 1 hour later than the park is open. You can go in there, and once again, this is a shop that has a bit of everything. Stationery, clothes, cuddly toys, normal toys, jewelry, snacks, all that stuff. So that's a great one-stop place. If you just want to do a bit of shopping and not eat into your theme park time, you can go there. And now, as we talk about the events for 2026, do let me just say, whilst the early ones in the year are nailed down, some of these later ones, I'm going to be speculating a bit more. We don't really know exactly what's going on, so I'll give my thoughts on what we think is going to happen. What we do know is that the year is going to start off from January 1st through to January 12th, with a very brief mini event. Not Minnie Mouse. The next one's a Minnie Mouse event. God, that's confusing. With a small event based on Japanese New Year, the New Year celebrations event. This is very small, there's not much to it, but you do get to see Mickey and Minnie in their traditional Japanese garments, which can be pretty cool. They'll do a very small parade that'll just go through the park. You probably won't notice much, but it's a fun little thing that they do. The fireworks will also have a bit of different music during this time as well. That's a common theme that you'll see a lot for these events. But again, it's still very short. Oh, and also, if you're thinking, wow, imagine how amazing New Year's Eve would be at Tokyo Disneyland, I wonder what time the park closes. The park closes at 9 o'clock, just like every other day of the year. So maybe get a bit more adventurous with those plans. Universal Studios Japan stay open all night. The rides don't stay open, which I learned the hard way, but that was very, very cool. If you want something fun to do on New Year's Eve, maybe head down to Osaka and go there instead. Next up, from January 14th through to March 2nd is going to be Disney Palpalooza Mini Funderland. My goodness, that's a lot of words. So Palpalooza is the name of these events they've been doing that are based on one specific Disney character. And for January this year, it's going to be Minnie Mouse once again. We have this Mini at Funderland parade, which we had a couple of years ago. Everything's pink and polka dots. It's a cute little thing, whatever. But something that's brand new in 2026 is the Thunder Night Fun, where they're going to project some more pink onto Cinderella Castle at nighttime. Now, they're really trying to make it clear that this is not really a show per se. They're just going to kind of be projecting patterns on the castle. So don't get your hopes up too high for this, but it's something fun that's happening in the evening. And they'll also, I don't want to say this for every single event, so I'll just say it now, they'll have special food and special merchandise just for the event. Same for all of them. Now, after that ends in March, there'll probably be a new Palpalooza event in April. The last 2 years, that slot has been Donald. There's a good chance it could be Donald Duck again. Right now, they're keeping it a mystery, so who the hell knows? Last year, it was Vanellope von Schweetz from Wreck-It Ralph. And this year is the year the Wreck-It Ralph ride is actually opening, so will it be something like that again? No idea. Okay, so like an hour after I recorded that, Tokyo Disneyland announced that, yes, it will be the Vanellope event again, so points to me for guessing that correctly, I guess. From April 9th to June 30th will be Vanellope's Sweet Pop World, which does make me think the new Wreck-It Ralph ride will probably open in that window, or maybe a little bit before. Then again, the last time we had a new ride opening was at Disney Sea, and they had a big event called Dreaming of Fantasy Springs before the new rides opened. The event actually finished right before they opened. So the same could happen here. Maybe the event will happen and then the ride will open. We'll see. We still have no information about the ride opening. Anyway, as for the Vanellope event itself, this is going to be just like the Minnie Mouse one. A few decorations and a small parade. What do you think about that, Jordan, with nice lighting? The Palpalooza events are not huge things, not really worth writing home about. The normal daytime parade, Harmony in Color, is so much better than these event parades anyway, so if you're visiting from abroad and you don't come to Disneyland very often, you probably won't care very much. And now, once again, I am going to speculate, but based on the last few years, summer will probably be Summer Cool Down with Baymax, where they have this water parade that has 0 performers, just these 2 floats of a big Baymax and some of the other big Hero 6 characters, and they spray water over everyone while they play all this exciting music. It's a pretty fun little way to cool down during, as I said earlier, the very, very hot and humid summer months. The Country Bear Jamboree animatronic show does have a summer version during the summer as well, so if you're into that sort of thing, that's really nice as well. And then we kind of get onto the big ones. Halloween. So Halloween has been the same for the last 2 years. Personally, I'm going to imagine that it will be the same yet again this year. It seems like Disney Sea is getting more entertainment this year, so Disneyland will probably stay the same. If it does stay the same, Halloween probably won't be so busy. If there is a new parade, it could be very, very busy. But Halloween does just tend to be a very busy time of year to come anyway. The Halloween parade for the last few years has been Into the Frenzy with a few different Disney villains on there. So if you like the villains, you do get to see them. However, these seasonal parades, especially Halloween and Christmas, are so popular. I cannot overstate how popular they are. People literally get to the park the night before and camp out outside the entrance to guarantee that they can buy DPA for these seasonal parades. So if you want to see it, you better really want to see it and be willing to do all that craziness. Or be happy to watch it from quite a distance, which is what I tend to do, even as a big super fan who lives here. After that will be Christmas, and Christmas, I'm recording right now. I just went to Tokyo Disneyland and saw the new Christmas parade yesterday. I'm recording this in Christmas 2025. The new Christmas parade is really sweet, and it's pretty substantial. So they've just built this brand new Christmas parade. The last Christmas parade was there for 10 years. I'm sure this will be exactly the same in 2026. Same as I just said for Halloween. It's a very sweet parade. It's a lot of fun, but it's ridiculously popular. And that won't change much next year, I'm sure. And not only during Halloween and Christmas do you get the Nightmare Before Christmas version of Haunted Mansion, which is super cool, but you do also get a Christmas version of Country Bear Jamboree during November and December, which, again, if you like that sort of thing, it's a nice touch. So, to recap, Avoid Saturdays and national holidays. They will be super busy if not completely sold out. Buy tickets and download the app beforehand. Link in my description if you want to help me out a little bit. Thank you so much. Arrive as early as is reasonable to you. The earlier, the better. Use the Tokyo Disney app for free and paid queue skipping options for rides, and also free and paid options for watching shows and parades, as well as mobile ordering food, especially on busier days. See Tony Solaroni in Tomorrowland. He's a little alien dude who makes pizza. He's the best. Watch the night parade and rest your legs for a little while you sit down on the ground and enjoy this magical symphony of millions of twinkling lights, and do all your shopping in World Bazaar at the entrance of the park or at Bon Voyage outside the park if the park has closed. I hope that was helpful. If you want to help support me, not only can you buy your tickets through trip.com, you can also check me out on Patreon, where I can message you anytime you want for some trip planning advice to help you guys out. I'll be doing a video just like this all about Disney Sea, the other Tokyo Disney park, which is even more difficult to get right. So subscribe if you don't want to miss that. And maybe check out this video, because YouTube thinks that you'll like this one. I don't know.